Mobile.
It's out radio 92.5 training camp recap. I don't know what's going on with Coach. Tyler Palumbo is scheduled to join us as well. Happy to get to your comments about, hey, there you go, sort of. Coach, you there? Coacher.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Coacher. Had you. Lost you. That's okay. Sure, he'll be back. Bo Nick said, "Come and get it." He did. It's been his. It's his all along. Tyler Palumbo's there with us. Tyler, what's going on, bro?
Hey, buddy.
Let me see here. I know we were trying to get things going here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to get certain things like added and stuff, Tyler. Swear to God, you think I know how to do this.
I think I added my Twitter.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
I think so.
Boom. I'm checking.
Are we live right now? Are we on?
We are live. This is the show.
Yes.
This is the actual show.
People love
good. If you're on, that's good. I can't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not on. It might mean I'm just a dummy. That's all.
I connected it to your account. We'll see.
All right. Well, hopefully it pops up. You want to introduce us to your pal?
Yep. This is Samson Columbus. Old English.
Samson?
Samson is how old, Lydia?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. How old's Kenzie?
Samson's almost 8.
8 years old.
He's
All
almost.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I've got 5 children in this house. So
Yeah.
we'll see how the noise level does.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
we got 2 cousins in the house. We got 3 of my children, and we got a little sheepdog. So we'll see how the noise levels do.
all right? Well, best of luck with that one,
Thank you.
Mike. What are you consuming there tonight, pal?
Just a nice cold beer.
Yeah, it's cold. What type of beer are you drinking? What are we taking down tonight?
Just a freedom beer.
Freedom beer.
Yeah.
Freedom beer.
Drink up that
See
freedom.
Yeah, you see it right there? There it
Freedom.
is, man.
Oh, good freedom beer. Yeah. Well, I haven't watched any of the Olympics tonight, not yet. I'm gonna wait, and get to USA. I hear that Simone had a disappointing day, but
Yeah, you told us during the show before anybody else had seen anything.
well, me and
When you said you weren't going
world.
to blow it, but she didn't do quite as well as she previously has.
nah. Well, I think if she doesn't win, you're not blowing it.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't make any sense.
People only want to know if she wins.
Let's get to football, for crying out loud. What are we doing to ourselves? If you've got any comments, please let us know. If not, don't worry about it. Bo Nix was what, Coach?
Solid. Another day of solid football. He had a couple good, like, intermediate to, I'd call it like kind of big boy throws.
Yeah.
He had a nice about 18-yard completion through the air completion to Cortland Sutton that I thought was probably his best ripped throw.
Versus a ground completion or what?
Well, there've been a lot of completions in that 4 to 7 yard area. So yeah, this was good to see.
Yeah, today was kind of every day feels about the same to me. It feels fine, there's a lot of good stuff going on out there. It's hard to tell, Coach. I've never planned a practice at this level or at the college level, but I know how it goes. You kind of put in a healthy amount of script for success versus scripting to challenge the quarterback, right? And right now it looks like, wow, it's great to see you too, whoever that is. Appreciate it. And right now it feels like there has been a healthy amount of both, but I would say so far Bo Nix has been very steady. I mean, about as steady as you could possibly get for a rookie coming into his first training camp.
Yeah, this comment, haven't seen you in a while. Tyler, we got to ask you about the beard. It's seriously.
What do you want to know?
Coach, right? Like, how are we going to break down this beard, Coach? What do we think here?
I think that we're kind of inching towards the era of maybe just a little bit of just upkeep. I think
little upkeep.
Yeah, a little maintenance. It's like I think you could learn something from the grounds crew at Broncos Park because my man Tyler, I've heard you actually allude to it. You've not only let this go, but I think you've let pretty much everything go.
Yeah,
and
I have. Yeah. You know what I did the other day though? So I set a life goal that I didn't want to trim anything until my full-on neck hair had connected into the beard. So it was just one giant bush going around the entire head. And I did successfully achieve that. So I did go back there and I trimmed up the neck hair. So that's the one thing that has been trimmed up in the last like 3 months.
Yeah, Tyler, in my kind of like being a fairly new colleague of yours, that's
Yeah.
the one thing that I've been wanting to tell you. Like the beard is the beard, but the neck beard, the neared was like on a completely different level of.
Well,
just
see, you
insane.
didn't know that I actually was achieving a goal there. Like I set out to achieve something, and like a determined professional athlete that I am, I'm not going to stop until I have success.
Hey, I think we should congratulate Mike McGlinchey. I don't think it's official, but I was told that he was having a kid. So that's why he was missing there today. So way to go, Mayor McGlinchey. Congratulations. I believe it was, from what I understand, the baby was induced after practice. You want to talk about a dedicated fella, right? Like we're gonna take care of that baby after 2:00 on Saturday. And you know, we're gonna, because you're inducing it, right? Right. So I mean,
I'm a little bit curious why they didn't do it on the off day. You know, and I don't know how dedicated he really is, because if he was truly dedicated, he would have done it on the off day. To me, it sounds like he was slacking a little bit, trying to get a few extra hours off there.
Well, theoretically, the kid's born as soon as practice is over. You get the off day to spend time with the child, and then you're back to work.
Yeah,
you know,
he really cares about spending time with the kid. You know, it's about getting back to work.
Yeah, I went and played in a men's league baseball game after my second kid was born, because I learned from my first kid, you may as well take advantage of the hospital, because that's like the last time that anybody's going to be watching your kids for free. And actually, it's not free. It costs you a lot of money, actually. To have a kid.
Yeah. I did have a kid born in the middle of the season. Lydia.
You did?
The Lydia who was on right here. She's nearly a Halloween baby. And I tell you what, it was a little bit stressful sleeping in the hospital a couple nights before you're playing the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that's you know, training camp ain't bad though. I mean, if you're gonna have a kid, you may as well make $19 million a year, or whatever McGlinchey makes, and it's during training camp, right? Like, not a lot to worry about.
Yeah, I had 3 scheduled inductions during the fall.
Come on.
Yeah, yes. The only one that went like on schedule was my middle child, Gunner. And so I was coaching at Boise State at the time. My wife induced on a Thursday, which is date night. So instead of a date, we had a child.
Yeah.
And I was scripting. I was scripting practice and finishing up my call sheet. Actually, while my wife was in active labor, and then I kind of gave her like a win-win for the Gipper speech.
Yeah.
It didn't go great. Like my wife isn't like, "Hey, appreciate it, hon. That was really sweet of you."
No.
I talked to her like she was one of my players, and she talked to me like she's like I was somebody who she was going to divorce soon. So yeah, that's.
But you still got to name your kid Gunner.
That's exactly right, man. Yeah. Gunner. And
that's a dad name. That's a dad picked out the name, by the way.
No, I mean, if we're going to talk about it though, that's just like an inch away from naming your kid Win. You know, like if you go with like Gunner or Win, like that's a statement, you know, and like you're putting a lot of pressure on your kid there. I'm not quite sure. Like, did your kid ask for that kind of pressure? Because now he better be a freaking stud. Because if he's not the superstar on all of his teams, he's going to be mocked with that name. You realize that, right?
Yeah. Well, luckily, it was a family name. So my grandfather came over from Denmark. So it's actually Gunnar.
Oh, okay.
So
wait. 1 N or 2?
Gunnar. Gunnar.
That's Gunnar. That's Gunnar.
Well, in America, it's Gunnar. But you know, my grandfather, he got to meet, you know, before he passed away, he got to meet his namesake 2 generations later. So 3 generations later. Yeah.
That's a convenient win. So good for you. But that is still a dude's name, if I ever heard it. No matter what the heritage is, we all know what Gunner means. But by the way, that's not the only Gunner I know. Gunner Farrat is Ann and Gus's kid. They've got a Gunner as well. So I don't know if you knew that or not. But Farrat's got a. Do you know Annie?
Well, no, but Gunner Esiason, Boomer's kid.
There you go.
Boomer's got one too. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Oh,
Brock Ewer named his kid Titus. That's another one. You know, like Titus, dude. Like
Titus.
Dude, like Like, what are we saying here? And I'm not going to lie. The dude does look like a Titus. He's going in his freshman year. He's 6'4.5". Like,
I heard.
He's a dude.
Yeah.
He's a dude.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, Brock reached out to me the other day. Can you guess what? It was kind of quirky. I talk on and off to Brock, but not that regular. But he did send me a tweet about the CU program. He did.
Yeah.
So, and you guys were defending CU today. I don't know if you've had any more thoughts or anything maybe quickly before we get on to the Broncos here, but you're obviously both connected with CU. Got any thoughts about that Athlon.com article?
Well, I heard today from the mayor or governor or senator of the CU football program, my guy Camden Dempsey. And he cleared the air behind the podium. So I'm good, man. We're good. Everything's copacetic. I never really thought there was a big issue with it anyway. I think that a lot of the stuff that was said in that article, frankly, that stuff does happen in some college football programs. It can be sensationalized, which I believe it was. Jordan Seaton was made into the victim of a bullying scheme that he had to go fight people in the locker room. He came out and said it wasn't it was all hearsay, DMac. So how can you prove hearsay? I just, to me, it's another one of these. There are some hit pieces that I think are probably grounded in some form of truth, but this one to me just seemed extreme.
Tyler?
Yeah, I believe that the majority of the things that were reported in that article happened to one degree or another. Like, for example, do I believe that Jordan Seaton could have gotten in a locker room fight? Hell yeah. Of course he could have gotten in a locker room fight. Matter of fact, I've never been on a team that didn't have multiple locker room fights. And again, I'm not earlier during the show, everybody's like, oh, Tyler's justifying it because he's saying it happens everywhere. I'm not justifying it, but it's just the reality of the situation, man. You got a bunch of testosterone in that room. Dudes get in fights. Do I believe that Shiloh Sanders and Corbani McLean could have had a moment? Yeah, I believe all that. But all of it just feels like it was just another piece. How can we take a story, turn it into something bigger? There's been lots of stories about bad hazing stuff, right? And I would qualify if you're making a freshman get in an intentional fight with somebody, that would probably be bad hazing. But that's where you got to make a decision. Was it a fight or was it an organized fight?
All right. Well, let's get.
And D-Mac, just
Yep.
one thing to close this circle on that CU story. The reality of CU's football program is because there's been so much roster turnover, and because you've taken so many players that had entered the portal from other schools, and that's a majority of the roster. Are there going to be some things that happen off the field? Yes. It happens when you recruit the players, their parents, and you go through a long process. It still happens. So, yeah, there's some things going on, but I just think it was highly sensationalized. And it is what it is.
Kaden Sterns was cut and he was cut, by the way. They did try to trade him, got no takers at the 2 p.m. deadline. They did release him. He was released because why, Tyler?
Well, about the only thing that can make sense is just health. Kaden Sterns was one of those guys that kind of became an overnight folk hero. Everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's as good as Justin Simmons." No, that's not true. He was never even close to as good as Justin Simmons. Good football player and definitely worthy of being on an NFL team. So to make that cut right now, there's got to be other stuff going into it. Definitely not implying that there was a locker room issue, but when a cut like this happens, it's okay, it's injuries. Something else happened outside of football. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, the Denver Broncos are now in the market for another safety. There's been speculation about whether this could be related to bringing Justin Simmons back. I don't know. I would do it in a heartbeat, especially if you're telling me you can get Justin back at $6 million, $5 million bucks. Yeah. I'd do it in a heartbeat. But I promise you this, the Broncos will be adding a safety via the waiver wire or somewhere else.
Coach?
Strictly availability, and the biggest availability that Kaden Sterns didn't necessarily meet was he didn't meet the criteria of being healthy for the opening of training camp. He wasn't there. He wasn't there consistently over the first 10 practices, and ultimately, I think that you have to be healthy to compete for a spot that, frankly, was occupied by a very, very good football player just last season. So I do believe the Broncos have to kick the tires on a safety or maybe two. Just because if you look at the depth, it's not there. Brandon Jones has been a little banged up. PJ Locke is your one proven commodity, although it's really 1 year of proof. that he can play in the NFL level. And then JL Skinner's, and Devin Key, they're both really exciting players, especially JL Skinner, in my opinion, but it's still unproven. So I think the tires will certainly be kicked on a safety or two.
All right, we'll make tonight a little bit shorter. Everybody's got a little bit of something going on. We appreciate close to 1,000 people watching us right now that quick. This has been a nice tradition. We do it night after night, so it's fantastic. So let me just do this as we thank you. We appreciate you watching. We'll be back here again tomorrow night. There's been complaints about training camp is a bit of a malaise right now. The energy isn't there. I feel that vibe. I understand what people are talking about. First of all, what do you guys think about that? And would you have any suggestions to just get things going a little bit, to get more juice on that field? Any ideas, any suggestions?
I got a great solution.
Okay.
It's called practice and or play against somebody in a different uniform, which inevitably is going to be happening this weekend. And I mean that. Like, I'll say this, DMac, this is my first time covering an NFL training camp, and really I've been to almost every one of the practices in their entirety. At the end of today's practice, like, it dawned on me, I was like kind of depressed after practice. and I told Tyler, and I was like, it was weird. I kind of got emotional with him, not like crying, but just like, hey man, like I drive to these practices so freaking excited because I love football so much. And then I just leave with the general, just kind of like, oh, like I wanted to see something that I could tell the masses about. Like, this receiver made a massive play, or Bo Nix he unleashed a beautiful ball like between two defenders, and so far there just hasn't been that moment. I don't think that's necessarily a horrible thing, because I do think the Broncos' best path forward to optimize Bo Nix, not just this year, but for the longevity, is to play a version of boring football, and to cover a boring training camp. Frankly, like, it's boring, man. It's almost bordering on depressing.
Tyler.
I'm gonna take a little bit of the other side on this thing.
Okay.
I guess I understand why people have been saying that in terms of, first off, the music is a big thing. It really is. When you've got a practice that doesn't have music out there, and in today's day, it feels like everybody plays music in the middle of practice. Immediately, it's just gonna feel like the energy is down a little bit. But I'm gonna take the other side to the degree of, excitement can come in one of two forms. It can come in terms of 80-yard throws, 80-yard bombs or whatever, and all of a sudden big, huge plays. That's pretty exciting. But you know what else is quote unquote exciting? Bad football. Bad football is something to talk about, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And when you've got we've got bad football, well, whether it's interceptions or whatever, well, there's going to be a lot of energy coming from the defense, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Jumping up and down. There hasn't been a lot of bad football out there.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually part of it in a good way.
Did Tyler talk you off the ledge, Coach?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he reminded me, because I've been in training camps, for really my whole life, between my dad and then playing and coaching. He reminded me, man, like, don't you remember? Like, this is just what it is, man. Like,
it's the dog days.
It is. You get to day 11, and I don't know. I just think for me, it's like the excitement doesn't necessarily come from the music. Hopefully the music inspires the players to then, kind of bring a little bit of extra something, focus, energy to practice. And then ultimately what makes it exciting for the viewers, the fans, the media, are the big plays. And I think the big plays in a training camp that's, I guess, fun to cover or exciting to cover, it goes both ways. Like, there's takeaways on defense. We haven't seen a ton of those, to Tyler's point.
There haven't been, no.
Like, there's nothing that gets me from 6 to 12 faster than seeing the power play block to perfection and seeing a running back freaking come right up the A gap for a 50-yard gain. Like, that stuff gets me freaking right there. You guys know what I'm talking about.
More of a wide zone guy personally, but okay.
I like wide zone too.
Yeah.
I like wide zone too. Well,
the truth of the matter is, if you can muscle through this week, that's it for the rest of the year. That's it. Everything after this is actually pretty interesting, because first of all, there's the game against the Colts on Sunday. Then the Packers. Oh, Coach, wait till Jordan Love gets here. Are you kidding me? Tyler,
I texted him yesterday, and I'm like, I basically said, I'm like, are you going to even come over and say hi to the kids? Or are you way too big time now? And I was expecting him not to text back, but he said, you already know, coach. Don't call me big time, man. Ain't me. You know that. So
Hey,
if you can't get Jordan Love to at least come over to the table where you're broadcasting to at least say hello, I'm going to think all those photos you have are photoshopped. Seriously.
I mean, they very easily could be AI. We know that, DMac.
You guys should have seen, his boss man, his mentor, his hero, Coach Shaw. He literally walked past Mike today.
I heard.
Like Mike's like, hey, Coach, how you doing? Like, it's so great to see you. Come on over, say hello. He didn't even look up. Just kept on walking.
That's a beautiful thing. The beautiful thing I've learned about all forms of media, and especially talk radio, is that you can openly lie to try to shame somebody else, and there's no accountability for actually the truth. And I'm learning it yet again.
All right, so maybe they didn't even make eye contact. I don't know. The truth lies somewhere in between.
Well, here's the truth according to Sean Payton. They're not even done with the install. They got to install Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday before they even prep for Indy. So we have 3 more days, fellas, of just putting stuff in. So don't look for the most excitement in the world. But Sean Payton did detail it's 3 more days of installation, and then everything should be in, and then they start just slightly getting ready for Indianapolis. All right, real quick, last one.
I forgot they even have a game until Mike said that. I'm like, holy cow, like we've got a game like right around the corner here.
Sean Payton did say, this is the last thing. I know everybody's got to go here. There's the dog. There's the dog alarm. Wow. Sean said he would announce the starter on tomorrow or Wednesday. Quick guess, who's the starter going to be and why against Indianapolis, against Indy?
Okay, so I have Jarrett Stidham starting the game
against
the
Indy.
Ones. Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I don't want to steal your why because I got a hunch we got the exact same thought.
Bring your why, Tyler.
Okay, well, I 100% think that Jarrett Stidham's going to start in the game, and I think that it's absolutely just dumb BS coach stuff that you're going to do because you want other teams to think that you haven't made a decision. It's as simple as that.
My why is because Bo Nix will see when he enters with the twos, which will be a modified version of the twos. We all know that the receiving core is so interchangeable and has been throughout training camp, and all of them are going to play. I think that you're going to see Bo Nix playing against the twos and threes defensively for the Colts, which is frankly an opportunity for Bo Nix to build some confidence. You can say it's rigging the election. You can say this is Venezuelan politics, if you will. But I think it's because you want to build the confidence of a young quarterback in his first time playing.
Do you think Coach really wants him out there behind the 2 and 3 offensive lines?
Definitely the 2 offensive line. I think that's one thing. Or he stretches the 1 offensive line maybe for a series. I don't know.
Wow, yeah. we vowed to not talk politics on this show, and there you go again, bringing up Venezuelan politics.
Hey, I mean, I have to shame my son right now. This is so funny that this came up because he's got a cousin over, and somehow politics got brought up, right? And they're like, "Hey, who you voting for?" I won't bring it up, but then I'm like, he said who he would vote for, right? And I'm like, is he Republican or Democrat? What do you think? And he's like, I don't know. Then he's like, what's the difference? I'm like, hold on. Do you know what Republicans and Democrats are? He's 13 years old and he doesn't even understand what the parties are. I'm like, is that on me as a dad or is that on the school system?
He should consider himself lucky at this point. There's plenty of time to be disappointed later on, no matter what. Amen. All right, guys. On that one, we'll let you go. We'll see you out at training camp tomorrow. We're back at 8 o'clock tonight. Goodbye to the dog, the 5 kids, the partridge in a pear tree, and Freedom Beer. Let's go, Simone Biles. We'll see you tomorrow night.
That sounds like a hell of a night right there. That is my kind of damn night, brother.